This is the new.
Katika kipindi tunakuletea wasanii.
What's up my guys? I go by the name Rainams.
Eti nikipita kwa macho na nipimia, na kama sina pesa ungewezi nipimia. Hapa Shensta the Poet manze.
Ngoma moto moto.
If you wanna show some love, but don't fake it. Ida kumenya mawazo makuu nani anadera shida utani wako
Vichekesho mkisongaza mahojiano moto moto, stori za wasanii pamoja na talanta za wasanii.
Fiki wa kasi gani kama wapatikani wakati wa shida.
Na pia kwenye kipindi utabambika, utajijenga, utaelimika, utakuza talanta yako.
My name is Rebecca Mutie, I'm a model and I'm Afri Kenya. I'm a student. Napenda kusikiza kipindi cha Bonga na Katoni kila Jumatatu kuanzia saa 9 mpaka saa 10.
Kumbuka ni kwenye Bonga na Katoni ndani ya TAS TV kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 10 kila siku ya Jumatatu.
This is Bonga na Katoni in TAS TV. Karibuni. Get informed on what is happening in our political scenes and people who are making headlines in different parts of the country and the world right here at TAS TV. Join me, Lavin Nyagowa, as I bring to you weekly news highlights that are factual every Friday at 4 o'clock. See you then. Good morning. Welcome to the first episode of the Morning Digest. And on this debut, we talk about postgraduate depression and the challenges that young people encounter in building successful careers. With me in studio, I have an amazing guest who's going to be introducing himself in a bit. But before then, I am your host, Lavin Nyagowa. Remember to follow TAS TV across all social media platforms at TAS TV_KE on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, at TAS TV on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube at TAS TV Official. So without so much talking, let's get straight. Karibu sana.
Thank you. So
please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Lavin, and thank you for inviting me to this program.
You're welcome.
I'm McDonald Wakoli, an educational expert in terms of career progression,
Yes.
but also in terms of my background in terms of studies. I've done my undergrad in analytical chemistry, after which I did a caveat into technical areas where I've done my training in a postgraduate diploma in technical training.
Nice.
Currently what I'm doing for a living, I'm a quality assurance officer in a college in Thika, but I'm also very competent in terms of research and innovation. Thank you.
Nice. Kwa hivyo mmesikia, we are having msomi in the building. So you better buckle up for a very interesting discussion. Today we are discussing the transition from universities to the job market, postgraduate depression, and the challenges that come through during hiyo period ya mtu kutoka uni getting straight to the work. So maybe just to start us off, please talk to us, what exactly is postgraduate depression and why is it that imekuwa so prevalent recently?
Yeah, thank you. And maybe just to bring to our perspective, when I'll be talking about this discussion, I'll be using myself as a model because, of course, these are things you have encountered.
Yes.
Postgraduate depression, this kind of anxiety or depression aspect that happens as a result of students or those people who have qualified from their either tertiary levels of studies and expecting to get into job market.
Yeah.
But when they step outside the job market, they realize that a lot a paradigm shift altogether in terms of what is happening at the market level.
And it's
Yes.
not a bed of roses.
It's not a bed of roses, I can assure you.
Yeah, so maybe
it's
just
not,
what would we say are some of the signs for this, the post-grad depression?
Yeah, most of the time you'll find these graduates, once they have transitioned, they're outside seeking for job opportunities. You'll find most of them, they are locking themselves in their houses. So sometimes you'll find them, they no longer consider their dressing code, they just walk anyhow. You'll find also in terms, there are cases I believe you have seen, even some of them banning their certificates. In social media, you'll find, in case of any discussion, they are always negative in terms of education.
Yeah.
So they in a way look at education as something that is not of value into their lives.
Nice. So do you think that parents kinda contribute to this kind of depression? Because we have students who immediately after uni, they don't want to go back home. Some of them say, you know what, mi nataka kufanya nini, kuingia straight and start doing what I can do as I try to maneuver my way around. But we have parents who also say, no, you just come back home.
I can say intrinsically or without knowing, parents contribute a lot.
Yeah.
For instance, let's say in my case, of course, I'm coming from a family where we are about nine siblings, and being the only person who has transitioned to university level. So immediately after graduating, of course, there are those demands that parents will be asking you to contribute. For instance, educating, assigning you maybe 3 children to educate.
You become a deputy parent.
Yeah, you become like parents have decided to give you responsibility.
Yes.
But back of your mind, you realize you don't have job, you don't have earnings, and you also don't want to make these parents believe that they wasted their resources to educate you.
Yeah.
So you find you decide, maybe let me just stay either in town, suffer silently, promising them that of course I'll send.
Things are working out.
Yeah, but in real sense you're suffering. Yeah, so parents contribute a lot in terms of postgraduate depression.
And let's now talk about, this period is a period that no one prepares you for.
Sure,
and even
sure.
when it comes to schools, they don't really give counseling during this transition, preparing you for what is to come in the future. So now, how then can universities and higher education better prepare students for the emotional and psychological challenges that come with this transition?
Yeah, to me, I think this course should start as immediately this student complete their Form 4. In fact, it should even start even way further from Form 1.
Yeah.
Like we should have these reality talks, like students to understand that yes, you are trained as an analytical chemist, like what I did in my undergrad. But there are so many opportunities there, outside there. So if we can change the discussion where we don't only focus on what the trainee is going to do in terms of his career, but we can look at it as a holistic kind of discussion. Let's say once you graduated, I remember when I graduated 2018 from my undergrad, and I want to salute my Professor Carrero. That was my first employment, was to be a caretaker, which I was not taught in my curriculum. Of course, I was doing more concept. Those are things I was doing. But getting out, the first opportunity I'm getting on the ground is being a caretaker. My role was basically washing the floors, and of course ensuring that people have paid rent, looking at the electricity is there, something like that. That's something totally different from what I learned from school. So if we can have a discussion and make the student understand that indeed, yes, the opportunities are there, but the time frame of you getting the right thing that you trained for, it's not a guarantee that you'll get immediately after graduation. So we need to have a paradigm shift and discourse that is real in what is happening to the ground.
Okay, which is something I also feel should be talked about more often, because in as much as yes, umesoma, there's the aspect that you require. Sometimes outside here, you need to be street smart.
Understand
kwa ground vile vitu ziko.
Little
before you,
different.
before you maneuver
Yeah.
your way around.
Yeah.
So let me take you back kidogo. We have the first phase of being introduced to the job market, which is you going for an attachment as a student, then coming back to now complete and graduate. So hapa hii attachment pia kidogo inakuanga kizungumkuti because we have people who end up looking for attachment mpaka wanakosa kuenda. Reason being, companies don't want to pick in attachment students, yet they work for free. What exactly do you think goes on, or what do you think should be done?
I think that there's actually a big gap in terms of student attachment, and maybe our education system need to look at it in terms of having clear memorandum of understanding and action with these companies, such that we have that dual kind of training. Because sometimes you realize going to for attachment is one thing, but being attached to a relevant professional, a relevant skill in relation to what you are doing is another thing altogether. So what's happening, I think, in education system in Kenya, we are not very cognizant or very keen on what is happening on the ground. You will find as maybe an analytical chemist graduate or an analytical chemist attachee, I go into an attachment area, but my role is more of filing. So you realize and kupanga files so you will find that the knowledge you are gathering might not be significant in terms of career progression. And again, let's say the attachment coordinators are not very keen in terms of aligning the specific objectives that this trainee need to cover within that particular period of attachment. And of course, those follow-up mechanisms that we are having, I think to me is very weak. And there's something that we need to do. We need to have a revamp in terms of follow-up mechanism, ensuring that those ties that we have established with the industries are very strong, and we have very strong liaison between the company and of course the institution, so that we can have that coherent kind of knowledge gap.
Yes. I remember when I was doing my attachment back then, there was a friend of mine who I'm not gonna mention who, but alikuwa ananiambia during his time when he was going for attachment, where he was actually placed, alikuwa anapanguzia wakubwa viatu wakiingia and taking to them tea. They don't necessarily pay attention to what exactly you're supposed to do, the reason as to why you're there, which I also feel is something that inafaa kuangaliwa, kuwekwa, so that at the end of the day somebody gets to learn what exactly imewapeleka pale.
That's very true.
Very
very
important.
And it's important.
So away from that, let's now talk about societal pressure, because umemaliza shule, you've graduated, and the society is also here. You need to, why are you not having a job? Because umemaliza, so you graduate, so they expect you straight up to get a job. So what role exactly does the society play, and how can people make sure that this does not get to their heads?
I think, to me, from the experience I've gathered over years, the society have not understood clearly what is the role of education in one's life. To me, I look at education as a process, and of course education as a product. If we can be able to understand education in those two dimensions, it will be able to help our society also appreciate the fact that this person is learned, yes, that there are solutions that he has in terms of the theoretical aspect. So the society should be able to provide an enabling environment for the graduates to be able to transition. Because sometimes you realize when the society looks at you as a graduate, they look at you as someone who has the solution to every problem, including money.
Which is money is always a very, very big aspect. Unaanza kuwekwa mpaka kwa chama.
But it is not actually the truth on the ground, because you find that some of the concepts you learned in school in ground might not work. So if, for instance, yes, I'm educated, the society receives me well, they consider me as the son of the soil or daughter of the soil, without that prejudice kind of concept, where this guy is scholarly in nature, so we're expecting 3 years down the line the guy will be driving, 4 years down the line the guy will be married with 2 kids, of course, with a 4-bedroom house, which might not be the case.
Okay. So during this time, immediately after graduation now, there's so much pressure to find work. There's so much that people forget during this period. So how then do they make sure that, you know what, they stay motivated during the struggle looking for employment?
What I've been doing and what I've been telling my friends, that we have been coming close contact, of course, sharing information here and there, and from personal experience. I think by the time you get out of the school, just like when you enter into employment, you should have an open mind. Open mind in a sense that even the basic thing that you learned in campus or in college, be it communication skill, you can say, I'll use communication skill to better my life. So when you go outside there, go with an open mind, go with an open heart, go with an open hand, that yes, I know I'm a school person, but I can be able to do even that basic work. Like I told you, I was doing caretaker. I was a caretaker, and that one never reduced the fact that I graduated with the second class upper, in fact, from JCOT. But I did that one diligently. I could wake up at 5, of course, wash the floor very well. By morning, I went out now to look for other side hustle in terms of research writing. By then, I'm very good in research and proposal development. So go outside, look for other hustle. Together, cumulatively, by the end of the month, you realize you are still able to roll some few projects here and there. So if we go out with open mind, we'll be able to navigate this world of job hustle.
Okay, that's interesting. Just make sure that you're having an open mind. Remember, the discussion that we are having is postgraduate depression and the challenges that young people encounter in building successful careers. Basically, it is transitioning straight from uni to the job market. Along the way, unakutana na a lot of things that you need to, unwrap as you move on. That is why he says, make sure that you're having an open mind. So right about now, we are headed on a very short commercial break. Remember, guys, we still have more for you, so stay put. In case you have any questions, keep them coming. See you in a bit.
Thank you.
Katika kipindi tunakuletea wasanii.
What's up my guys, I go by the name Reynams.
Eti nikipita kwa macho na nipimia, na kama sina pesa ungewezi nipimia hapa Shenster the Poet manze.
Ngoma moto moto.
If you wanna show some love, I don't fake it. Hey, ndakumenya mawazo mako, nani anadera shida, utani wako.
Vichekesho mkisongaza, mahojiano moto moto, stori za wasanii pamoja na talanta za wasanii.
Fiki wa kasi gani kama wapatikani wakati wa shida.
Na pia kwenye kipindi utabambika, utajijenga, utaelimika, utakuza talanta yako.
My name is Rebecca Mutie, I'm a model and I'm Afri Kenya. My student. Napenda kusikiza kipindi cha Bonga na Katoni kila Jumatatu kuanzia saa 9 mpaka saa 10.
Kumbuka ni kwenye Bonga na Katoni ndani ya TAS TV kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 10 kila siku ya Jumatatu.
This is Bonga na Katoni in TAS TV. Karibuni.
The newest, most exciting entertainment show where nothing is off limits. We bring you real, authentic, and raw conversations. Enjoy good vibes, fashion, and lifestyle from your favorite celebrities. Fun, trending topics, games, and educative segments. Every Tuesdays from 3 p.m. and Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. With me, Lavin Nyagowa and Hazel Jeru, only on The Unfiltered.
Welcome to TAS Media Institute, the home of undiscovered talents. You will be trained by professionals who have a passion in what they do. Do not be left behind. Enroll now and become a pioneer of TAS Media Institute. We are located at Neema Plaza, second floor along Kenyatta Highway in Thika Town. Life can sometimes take unexpected turns, and this family's story is no exception. When a gas explosion completely changed the course of their living, Mr. Joseph Lual and his family have been forced to face unimaginable hardships. But even in this phase of adversity, they have managed to persevere with so much resilience. And as the saying goes, adversity introduces you to yourself. Let's get the story of Mr. Joseph and his family.
So welcome to the first episode of Brain Busters. My name is Mwangi Dominic. Leo tuko barabara ya MKU, tunauliza maswali tatanishi.
At TAS Media Institute, we let you discover your talent. This is the newest, most exciting entertainment show in town.
Talk about authentic and raw conversations,
Fun and educative segments. And Saturdays from 3 to 4 p.m. only on The Unfiltered.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for choosing TAS TV. Remember, if you're joining us just now, we are talking about postgraduate depression and the challenges that young people encounter during their period in building a successful career. So in case you missed the first part, please rudi nyuma, make sure that you watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow our guests at our mentioned platforms zake along the way. So yeah, sure. Just stay tuned. Keep in mind that that is what you're talking about. I also said, remember to keep sending in the questions that you want clarifications on, because guest what Wapa clearly is a very, very, very learned person. Yeah. And he has a lot of knowledge on what we are talking about. So let's get back to the discussions.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So we have industries and sectors in Kenya. So how do they make sure that they create a very conducive environment for fresh graduates who are joining the employment field?
I can say in Kenya, from where I sit, we really have a gap in terms of a conducive, enabling environment for our fresh graduate to transition into job market. And I like the way the discussion at the national level is taking shape in terms of looking at the youths and, of course, creating work for them. But if, let's say, the stakeholders in terms of education system can sit together, let's say the industry player, the education sector, the government, all of them should sit together and look, how can we be able to expand the job market in terms of creating and enabling opportunities for fresh graduates to be able to cap on. Because there's a shift in terms of how training is taking place, which again is not actually happening at the industry level. So this discussion must involve all the stakeholders holistically for us to have a 360 kind of discussion. And this one will help in terms of absorbing as much graduates as possible. Yeah.
Okay, so how then do graduates make sure that they put themselves in better position so that they get to attract this kind of opportunities?
So I think this journey should start all the way from campus life, because in campus there's a lot of opportunity that students can be able to tap on. For instance, there's this discussion in terms of clubs and society within the college setting, and we are inviting quite a number of speakers to come and talk to students. So if students can position themselves strategically, being very active in this particular kind of club and society, extracurricular activities, and of course even the trainers who are teaching them, those lecturers, they have also opportunities. So if a trainee can be able to be very cognizant and time conscious in terms of, yes, here I'm doing my course, I'm doing my maybe public health, I'm doing communication, but apart from being a communication expert, I also need to understand what is the job dynamic all about. There are academic stress that happens when you go outside there. How do you present yourself? Don't just go for that molecular concept. But ensure that you at least in of course within a day or within a week in a university setting, you need to create some very strong network that will help you once you transition.
And I think presentation is one of the very important things that you should look at as a person, because how you talk, how you dress, how you engage with people around you will give you will put you at a better position for you to get, the opportunities that people are looking for, right?
That is very key, and I think what we are doing at JFC Mnene College, I want to appreciate my director, Mr. Ndei, and of course Madam Cecilia Ochol for good work they are doing at JFC Mnene College of Health Science. For us, we have introduced a very unique course called Credit Hour Training, and in this we are trying to impart our students with soft skills. Of course, the hard skill has been trained for long overdue. And now what is selling outside here is not about the hard skills, not about the analytical concept that I have in my mind, but how do I communicate? How do I dress? How do I negotiate my way out without necessarily creating a lot of pressure, friction in job market? So there's a lot, even grooming. You find, so sometimes I pity graduates. You go to job market, of course, with dreadlocks. I'm not saying that if you're having dreadlocks is bad, but or you are trousers. I remember when you were young, when you were growing up, and you are given trousers that is tattered, you will cry. You'll even feel ashamed to get out. But nowadays it's wanasema the swag.
The swag, that's a fashion.
But it's actually destroying our society. You go outside there, you are a teacher, you have come to look for opportunity in teaching, but the way you are dressing does not portray the teacherhood in you. So there's a lot that we need to look at in terms of soft skill. That's something that we need to focus our energy, our time, our resources to make sure that we are not only producing, of course, hard graduates, but soft graduates as well.
Interesting. So we talked about networking. How important is networking and building professional relationships in securing a job, and especially after graduation? And what are some of the tips that you can share about effective networking?
In terms of networking, number one, is very essential in terms of helping our graduates to transition into job market. But number two, it will also enable our graduates to open up. Like of course, I've met quite a number of people like Dr. Chache Saoke. He's an energy expert, of course, and he also do public governance and kind of discussion. And one thing I've learned over time from friends that I've met, once you network with right people, you'll be able to open up your scope. And you realize that, yes, I'm this kind of graduate, but I need to open up my mind. There are other strengths that I can be able to excel very well. Like after meeting quite a number of professionals, I realized that I can become a very good trainer. But I actually trained to be an analytical chemist. I was supposed to be in labs. Of course, after several discussions, you realize. So the fact here is that the key tips that one need to have, number one, you need to develop interest in various fields. Those things that you find yourself doing without struggle. So look at people who are excelling in that area. And if you can get a number of them, it will be able to open you up. I know people who have trained as teachers and currently they are presenters. And they are doing an amazing job. I know quite a number.
We also have lawyers around. A lot of them are in the media field.
Sure. Like a friend of mine that we are doing ISO implementation at our college, JFC Mnene College, Mr. Vitalis Nyongesa. He's an electrical engineer. but currently is a consultant in ISO aspect.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've learned, you need to develop as many interests as possible, and these things are inside us.
Yeah.
We have them.
Yeah.
So it's not so that you're going to sit down and develop them.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course look at people who are excelling in those areas. Mm-hmm. Of course it will be able to open up.
Okay, so let's now look at the finance aspect of this whole situation. Finances, these are challenges that often, compound the stress for job hunting for recent graduates. So what financial management advice would you give graduates during this period?
During job hunting, and of course just the first days into job employment,
yeah.
the most important thing is one need to look at his budget. It's important that you don't need to look at what other people are doing at the job industry, because you'll find people who graduated with you doing very well, others doing very poorly. But if you can be able to look at yourself as a person, I have this kind of goals that I want to achieve. Let me live within my means. In fact, in terms of the choices of where you live, maybe at this point you don't need to go to a 3-bedroom for what? You are going to give yourself stress for no good reason. Yeah. So you can be in a single room, decorate it very well. Just stay there for some time as you plan.
Yeah.
But saving is also very key. Of course, sometimes you can decide to save in terms of collateral. You buy goods, you put them in terms of goods. You can buy some few cows here and there.
Yeah.
You can lease land, so that you can have some consistent flow of income, even if it's in small bits.
Yes.
Yeah, but most importantly, look at your budget scope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the aspect of mentorship programs, especially in uni and post-uni. So many mentorship programs come up just to help people, to help the students during in the journey of their career growth.
Yeah.
So how can young people find suitable mentors, and what should they look for in a mentorship relationship?
Now, of course, traditionally mentorship used to be, I'm looking at this figure who is excelling very well. So, and for youths nowadays, they go to social media, look at this person excelling very well. Then you want to copy exactly what this person is doing. But to me, as an education expert, I'll be able to look at it this way. What are my interests? What are some of the steps that I can take in order to achieve this interest, whatever small it might look like? Then who are other people who are able to achieve it, and of course how was their journey, so that you can be able to do a correlation, you can be able to do a comparison. And of course when you are having a mentor, be it physical mentor or online, you need to look at how was his journey. What are some of the things that I can copy? Because again, there's a lot of problem that's happening nowadays. You just get a mentor who is excelling very well, and you want to do exactly everything that this person is doing. But remember, our DNA composition is different altogether. Yeah. So of course you can copy what the mentor is doing, and it's not working for you. So it's important for us to understand what is my short-term goal in terms of my career progression. What is my long-term goal? What are the career pathways that I can be able to follow, and what is the time frame? If you can be able to get the gist about it, of course these other things will fall in place.
Exactly. That's interesting. And now that you mentioned social media, talk to us about social media and the relationship between social media and postgraduate depression.
Social media has played a critical role in terms of ensuring that it condemns these particular graduates to full depression and anxiety. Because sometimes when, for instance, I've gone to a good hotel, I'll take a peek. Of course, take a peek, real-time edit a bit. If I'm frowning, of course, I can add some images. Then post. Of course, tens and tens of people will look into it and say, oh, this guy is doing well. And no, he was not doing even very well in class. Now see where he is. And maybe you are there outside there with your first class, not knowing that this other person who has posted is also struggling. So it's important for us to also look at the information that we are getting at a critical point of view. Like, is this what is it, or is just an animation of what's real? Because sometimes we can judge things on social media, but on the ground this person is suffering more than what you are doing. Yeah, so it's always important, as much as we say that green, the pasture is green at the other side.
On the other side.
Yeah, it's important to appreciate. Like for me, what I've done as a person, I've developed a flow matrix kind of charts, and I've identified some of the successes that I've encountered in vis-a-vis the goals that I've set. So I don't need someone to tell me, or I don't need to look at social media and see how person X is excelling for me to feel motivated. I have small steps that I want to achieve. Let's say after 2 years I want to have this kind of things, after 3 years I want to have this, and I set them down clearly every year. This is what I want. Of course, at the end of the year I can be ticking those that I've achieved, those that I've not achieved, and lesson learned. And it become easy on my side.
I think it's also important to monitor your progress all across.
Sure.
You will not wake up one day and get everything that you're looking
You
for.
will not.
At the end of the day, you need to make one step at a time. Hakuna mtu anarukanga mara mbili.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's now look at the gig economy and freelancing. Both of these have become very popular options, especially for young professionals. So would you mind talking to us about the pros and cons of pursuing the freelance work and as an alternative to, traditional employment?
Yeah, it is true, but I know for freelancers, I know this time it might not be the best for us to discuss it, because again, in that discourse, in that sector, there's a lot of infiltration of AI. AI has actually solved a lot of challenges in terms of those work that used to come. A lot of them is being done by AI, and if you may ask, so many people nowadays don't do, or they don't get jobs that are frequent they used to get. So AI is good, freelance is good. It is something that can help sharpen your intellectual prowess. Not only intellectual capability, but also it will be able to give you some coins in terms of what goes into your pocket. But looking at it, of course, if you have to do it, you need to balance. Because sometimes you'll have to stay in your house quite a lot of time, and the more you stay alone, of course, counselor's point of view will tell you that's the point when depression now will start getting in, and you'll not be able to keep in touch with what is happening outside there. So freelancing is something that it is good, but not 100% per se. That's something one can say, I'm only going to focus on online kind of aspects. We need to look at a holistic kind of life. So for startup capital, yes, it's good. You can get some money and also invest in other projects which will be able to keep you running.
Okay. So talking about AI, do you think that it has come to a point where AI is going to replace most of the jobs that people are doing, which could be a threat to people who are now graduating from uni?
I've critically analyzed AI. I cannot say that AI will be able to replace all the work that people are doing. Remember, I think when AI will crack the aspect of emotional intelligence, where it can be able to sense, it can be able to respond to emotion, different emotion. At that particular point, of course, there will be a problem. But where we are, there are critical aspects that we still need people to be there. We still need human being to be there. So as advancement in AI is taking place, of course, advancement in technology is something that we cannot run away with. What I've been telling people, educational stakeholders, we need to embrace this kind of AI. But it's not time to say that AI is going to replace entirely the generation in terms of human being. So youths, don't get worried.
Don't be scared. Okay, so let's now talk about soft skills. What role does soft skills like communication, adaptability, and of course the problem solving aspect play in a young person's career, and how can they use them to improve their skills?
So soft skill is key, not only in terms of career progression, but even in life. Recently I've been doing a 90-day gratitude without complaining. And today I'm actually celebrating my 90th day. Just looking at things, and I've learned that any other time you are in a situation, always learn to give excuse to the other person. You reach to workplace, yeah, you reach to workplace and you find your boss is very angry. Ask yourself, why is he angry? Perhaps maybe he never slept well. Perhaps maybe the wife disturbed this person. So always try to give the excuse to the other person and try to think, why is he behaving this way? So with soft skill, you'll be able to look at things not on the face value, but you'll be able to go deeper. And this one will help you navigate different kind of situation in workplaces, in your home. You go home, maybe your wife is frustrated. You smile a bit and ask, why is he frustrated? Why is she frustrated? Perhaps maybe she was disturbed at workplace, or she missed me. So you never know. if you look at it in that way, soft skill will be able to help you navigate in so many ways. Of course, there are so many turmoil. People are stressed. And a stressed person, of course, will never give you peace. The best the person will do for you is to add stress to you. So soft skill is key.
Okay. So as we conclude, I think my final question would be around mental health support, because that is something that is very critical during the transition from this whole period, university to the job market, the challenges and everything. So are there any resources or probably organizations that people could actually help the postgraduates just to maneuver their way around?
Good. I think there are quite a number of counseling center, which are very key, but we need also to set up some postgraduate kind of mentorship program, strictly helping graduates to transition. I like what the government is doing currently. The government has established a compulsory 3 years community service kind of program, which JFC as a college we started long time ago when we started, such that during this time, 3 years, one can be able to reevaluate himself or herself and see, yes, I have trained as a perioperative specialist, I have trained as a teacher. Do I still need to be a teacher? Or I need to curve and be able to progress in other lines? So it's important always that we establish this particular guiding and counseling centers, and they are there, and you don't need to actually to be sick for you to go to a guiding and counseling. And depression can sometimes mental aspect cannot be written. Let's say this is mentally ill person. Of course, during those days we used to think someone who is mad on the street is the person with mental issue. But you'll find someone just a normal person but has a lot of mental problems. So it's important we talk about these things, such a discussion that we are having on every Wednesday. We can be talking about this thing, let people understand that yes, we need to have these kind of things. But also trainers, the lecturers need to play a very critical role. Don't just focus on what you are teaching as the course, but you also need to give these people additional skill in terms of understanding, yes, after this course, you might not really be able to transition and do exactly what you trained for, but you can actually cover and do other things. So it's important those trainers, in fact, they can actually save a lot. They can save because they are real-time people on the ground, and they command a lot of command in terms of the lives of this particular graduates.
Interesting, guys. So that was my final question to our guest today. What have I learned today? Be open-minded. You never know what is happening out there, but coming out of uni, thinking that you'll get to employment, get your life together, sometimes it becomes a challenge, and you need to work your way around that. That is why you need to do anything that can support you at that particular period as you try to maneuver your way around. So what would be your parting shots?
Thank you. It is possible to make it. Of course, be an open-minded person, and always understand that not what you trained for is what you can actually use to earn a living. It's always important to diversify your thinking, diversify your mind, and most importantly, have clear goals. You'll be able to achieve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you for that. We're going to be having Mr. Wakoli for a couple more episodes. So stay tuned for the morning digest every Wednesdays from 11 a.m. straight up for a whole 1 hour. Tutakuwa tunaongea hapa anything and everything that you encounter on a daily life. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for following TAS TV, and thank you so much for always making sure that you push us to produce more content for you on a daily basis. Follow us across all social media platforms at TAS TV Official on YouTube, TAS TV on Facebook, TAS TV_KE on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and www.tastv.co.ke on our website. Let's meet same time, same place next week. My name is Lavin Nyagowa, and this has been the Morning Digest.
This is the newest, most exciting entertainment show where nothing is off limits. We bring you real, authentic, and raw conversation. Enjoy good vibes, fashion, and lifestyle from your favorite celebrities. Fun, trending topics, games, and educative segments. Every Tuesdays from 3 p.m. and Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. With me, Lavin Nyagowa and Hazel Jeru. Only on The Unfiltered.